Hello again. It's Tim here from Geeks on Tap, and it's really good to be with you again today. So let's get into it. I'm going to talk about the start of the journey towards great cybersecurity. We'll begin with level 0, unawareness, and how you can get yourself into level 1 with some knowledge and preventative steps. The end of this journey relates to the security being proactive and adaptive. It's a long path, but for now, we'll focus on 101. Okay, so we've jumped into our admin console, and like I said, we're focused on some really simple steps that are going to help us to protect our environment. So, multiple ways to get places in admin console, probably lots of areas, but for today, I'm coming into security, down to the security center, and going to this security health section. This is a tool that has a few settings in there. Can see 33 settings in total, which are things that you really should consider and look for. They're not necessarily the highest priority, but they're simple things that can help protect your workspace. So you see what's the setting that it's being talked about, what's the status of the setting. So in this case here, this particular test domain of ours, um, calendar sharing policy, it's disabled for the entire organization. So need to think about that. That's secure, so that's the setting that we want. Of course, with all of these settings, best practice, we're weighing up usability. So do we want our entire workspace having sharing turned off? Probably don't, to be honest. But that is a health check. Now, for these ones where I'm not being told I'm compliant, I can click on this. I can see what Google's recommendation is. I can go off and I can learn more, and that will launch out to the Google support article about this particular setting. So I can go off and learn some more before I make any changes. The other button here shows me the scope of where this is applied to. This is applied to, in fact, the whole domain. So one org unit, which is the root level. It's not obvious from this setting here that it's the root level of the domain. In other words, the entire organization, or conversely, if it could be possible that that was only the root domain because inheritance was turned off, and so other OUs have a different policy. But I think that could be a bit more descriptive. So you can see you can work your way through here. This particular console has got a variety of settings with the tick, a variety of recommendations that can be made, and we can go off and we can rescope these settings. I'm going to click on this one, and you can see again, this is only giving me the snapshot. It's not actually fixing the setting. So I want to go and do something about the setting. I'm going to choose one in particular. This one, publish files on the web. It's linked me out to a new screen, so I'm just going to jump over to that instead. It would be great if it had done it in the window, but it didn't. And it's brought me to the general settings, but it hasn't brought me to that specific setting. So I've got to navigate in, file sharing on the web. So do I want this, allow them to turn it on? So I could choose the scope of the OU. So let's say in my demo case, I want the staff to have this, or in fact, I'm happy for everyone to have this, but I don't want students. So I can come and turn this, select the students OU, turn this off, and now I need to save that override. So save down the bottom there. Remember, this first level is about awareness of our security posture. So I could come into the dashboard, also still here in the security center, and I can have a look at what's happening in more real time with graphs of that. Now, these graphs are mostly ones that Google have created, but you could come in down into your rules and alerts. You could create something and you could add that to the dashboard. So they're ways that you can get insight into what's happening in your workspace. So what's next, I guess, is the question. Um, To be more comprehensive, you can use our tool, which, as you can see here, will report on, depends on your workspace, but somewhere between 200 and 300 security settings, rates, all these things. I'm going to jump in and give you a bit of a snapshot in just a minute. It does this automatically in just a couple of minutes and takes hours and hours of work out of that. Okay, so we've done all the little sign up steps and we're into our report. I'm not going right through this today, but give you a feel for it. So you can see there's a compliance score, how you're going, how many settings are of concern, some of the reports levels, so if this is a subscription-based model, then it talks to you about what settings have changed since you last scanned. It could be that you temporarily turned a setting off and forgot to go back and adjust it, so that's great. Alerts you to that, and then an overall health score. And this can be used as part of cyber insurance or just general compliance and awareness for your admins and for your your business manager and people like that. So broken down by category, a bit more detail here, what's good, bad, or otherwise, and then you get a summary of what's going on in this workspace, things that you should address straight away, and things that are of greater concern. So I've jumped across here. I clicked on the high priority issues, and we were talking about this as being security 101. These high priority issues are the things that you really want to address first and work your way through. I'm going to open one up just to give you an idea of the kind of level of detail that we provide. So what's going on, what's the description of this setting, what's the recommendation relating to this setting, how does this setting map to the CIS benchmarks, which are the optimal standard for addressing cloud-based environments, how difficult or easy is it to remediate this, what's the impact on the end user, what's the value that this setting should end up being, and then like in the Google environment, in the admin console we were before, link to the to the support article, link back into console for that relevant setting, and then it talks about the scope of where this setting's applied. So in this case, it's at the root domain. That entails 14 people being exposing you here on this setting. So that's pretty dangerous for you. And that this should be of alert to you. No, you're not compliant. All right, so that's the kind of thing that goes through. When you've got a range of settings dispersed across OUs, groups, or individuals, then it will report on each one of those, and your compliance then will have a status of varies because you're not completely compliant, and it'll alert you to there. So the breakup would show compliance yes on such and such. Now an OU, no for others, or exception groups. Now, what we really want to see is always that your root OU is compliant. So this is bad. We also want to see that you're using either OUs, but more ideally, unless it's a wholesale section of your domain, but that you're using exception groups. So ideally, compliance yes on all the on other OUs, and then no, I've made an exception group. That group's called out, and that's where the policies evolved, and the exposure number is quite low for that because you're saying there is a subsection of my user base that needs to be able to do what this setting would prevent. So hopefully that's been of value and gets you started on that security journey. Go back to those levels, and we'll continue to work through those levels. We began at level 0. We were unaware, we didn't have much insight or much compliance. Today, I've helped you to think about and begin that journey of level 1. So hopefully that's been of value today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.